Guys, all right, we're going to be doing a carburetor on this poulan push mower. It's got a Kohler xt675 on it. Um, any of the parts that you'll need, I'll put in the description below. I'll see if I can find a whole brand new carburetor or whatever you'll need, and put it in the description below. Just click the link. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if this helps you in any way, shape, or form. Show me a little support. Pull your air filter off first. Three things the engine needs is spark, compression, and fuel. There's two parts of the fuel. You got the gas and you got the air. So you want to make sure your air filter is good and clean. 10 millimeter bolts, there's two of them. Pop them out, or nuts. Those are 10 millimeter nuts. Pop them out. Then we're going to pull this off. There's a hose here. You can pull it off this end or off this end, whatever end you can. Just get it off. And then there's a hose on the back. You're going to pop that off as well. Oh, that one came off that side. Boom, no big deal. Done. Alright, oh, looks like somebody's been into this before because they didn't put the clamp down. Nice. Perfect. Alright, so we're going to disconnect this fuel line and drain the tank completely. We want all the old fuel out of this tank. Drain into a clear bottle so I can see what the gas looks like. I want to know if there's water or what the heck's going on with it. Very little in there. Pretty much it. It looks good. Looks like good gas. Alright. I actually sold this to a customer quite a while back, a few years ago. So they came, gave it to me, and said it was hard to start. So it's just probably a dirty carburetor. We're going to take this little spring wire out right there. And then if you throttle this all the way up, you can push this throttle cable out like that. And then this guy right here, if you look back here, you'll see there's the arm right there. It needs to go back further. We're going to bend this flap up so that it can go back a little bit more. And then it lines up. It's hard to get in there. So we've gotten it up on top of that pin. It lines this whole cable up to where you can lift it right on out of there. Like that. Bring that out. Alright. And we're just going to pull this right off. Now pick a nice dry area that you're going to flip it upside down on, so you can see if any water runs out of the carburetor as well. This looks good so far. I don't see any water. 10 millimeter, pop that bolt off. Bolt's got a little rubber seal on it. Just leave that in place. Pop this off. Alright, now see the O-ring stuck to the bowl? We're going to leave that on there. If you pull it off, it can swell, and we don't want that to happen. If it stays in here, leave it in there. We don't want it to swell. And there's that pin. We're going to go ahead and pull that out. Get it out of the way. Pull the whole thing out. Needle and everything. Alright, so the main problem is going to be this jet right in here. That's going to be, when it gets hard to start, that starts getting clogged. Everything looks very clean in this so far. So I'm pretty sure that, although there is this right here that's open, that is a vacuum. That is the issue, probably right there. That is supposed to be capped off or plugged. So that'll make it run lean, and that'll make it hard to start. But we're going to go through the carb anyways. First, this vacuum line. Let's cut off a piece of fuel line. You can get the little vacuum line plugs in any of your auto parts stores. I just don't have one, so I'm going to shove this little piece of fuel line in it, and then find a bolt that fits in there to put on it. inside here and plug it off. Just like that, a little bolt in it just to kill the vacuum. I'm pretty sure that that's the problem. Now to get the jet out, it's a little flathead. Here, let me turn this on, torch on. It's a little flathead guy in there. So I take a number 2 screwdriver and I grind the 2 sides off of it to make it narrow enough to fit down in there. If you use number 1, it just won't hold. It's narrow enough to go down in there. And then it's counterclockwise to loosen it. So pop that out. So it's the jet. It's coming right out. There's an orifice tube inside. You pop that out. This one's just very clean in there, so I'm not going to bother with it. But if you want to, you just reach into a screwdriver, pop it out. The flat, smooth side that looks flat and smooth like this goes out this way, so that this flat, smooth side goes against it. We're going to go ahead and boil this out now. Hold on. So I use 14 karat gold testing solution. I'll put this in the description below. Make sure that you're wearing safety goggles. If you get it in your eyes, it'll burn your eyes. It'll burn your skin. Don't panic. If you get it in your eyes or on your skin, just rinse with water. Vinyl gloves work best for the chemicals. It's not so much the acid, it's the carb cleaner melts normal other gloves. Vinyl's the only thing that makes it through. So I've tried all the other acids. 24 karat gold does not work better. This is the best one, 14 karat. I've tried making my own acid. Muriatic acid will melt the aluminum right out of the carburetor. It'll open the jet up too much. But you just put a couple of drops on there and let it simmer and boil. You know, if you open the jet too much, it'll never run right again. Just use, if you're going to use acid, use this kind. Put it down into the orifice tube, a couple drops. Let it simmer and boil a little bit. And then we're going to go in through this one and this one. Those are idle circuits. A couple drops. A couple drops. Let them simmer and simmer and burn a little bit. Okay, so when you rinse this off, you want to gently spray it so that you don't get any splash back into your face. Then once you've gone good and gentle, you can go a little bit harder. Make sure that everything's clear. Make sure everything's good and clear. Then we're going to go ahead and rinse out all the rest of the carb. Rinse out these parts right here. Get the outside of it good and cleaned up. Alright, and then we're going to reassemble. We got everything good and rinsed out. The jet's nice and clean like new. Flat side down. Tighten it in with that screwdriver. Make sure you rinse the floating needle off. The needle just sets right on that metal flap. If it'll focus or not. Sets on that metal flap. It's got a little metal springy thing that holds it in place. Rinse that all off, get any dirt off of it. Set it in place. Remember this carb cleaner as well. If you get this in your eyes, it's going to burn like crazy. But you will not go blind. Just blink your eyes. Try to open them up. It's going to hurt. Don't panic. It's the evaporating. When it's evaporating, it hurts like crazy. If you try to force your eyes open, it'll evaporate faster, and then the burning will go away. 10-15 seconds of burning, and then it's done. And you got no problems. That's what you got to do for that. That's all. Put the pin in to hold the whole float in position. If you blow through this, when it's upside down like this, air should not pass through. If it is, then you got something going on and it's leaking. If you lift this up, air should pass through. You let go of it, air should not pass through. We're going to give everything a good final rinse off. Make sure there's no dust in it. Rinse off the bowl, make sure there's no dust in it, and then we're going to reattach the bowl. And when you put the bowl back on, just gently make sure that the O-ring goes back in place. Make sure your drain bolt is the opposite side of your fuel inlet. That way when your fuel inlet's over here on your fuel line, the opposite side you can get to open it up and drain out your gas if you ever have to drain out your gas, like if you think you got water in it or something. Alright, and then there's the top bolt. Where's the bolt that holds that freaking thing together? It's in here somewhere. There it is. Then we're going to make sure we rinse this off and then put it in. 10mm, tighten it down. Now we're going to put the carb back on. Make sure you got a gasket here. If your isolator block, which is this plastic piece, comes off, make sure that there's a gasket behind it. Make sure that's there. I'm going to put the carb on. We can take the intake, or the throttle arm, sets right in place like that, and then the spring goes in this little hole right there next to the spring. Vacuum line that's plugged off. This is for a different setup. This carburetor is actually for a different mower. There's a vacuum. There's a piece that goes here on some of the kohlers, and it's a vacuum. There's a tube that goes around from here to here. So when this starts up, the vacuum pulls and unchokes. Unchokes the choke. Make sure you ain't got no debris in there. Should rinse that out real good. Make sure there's no dirt inside here. Make sure your throttle's moving free, your choke's moving free. Rinse this off a little bit more. Oh, I missed all that. There we go. That's a little better. There's an idle circuit I missed, but this was clean. If you take this out and then you pry this up, there's another little jet in there. That's idle circuit. If your engine is surging, that's what that is. You just pop it out and rinse it out and it'll be fine. Alright, now we got all this on. I want to take air and blow out my gas tank and make sure there's nothing in there. You just want to make sure there's no water or dirt in it, is all. I need both hands. Reattach the fuel line. Make sure you get the clamp all the way tight so you don't have any fuel leaks. Oh, that was probably the issue, is I couldn't get the fuel clamp back on. There we go. A little tight. It's on there though. Alright, it's choke arm time. Where did I put the choke arm? It's around here somewhere. Okay, choke arm. We're going to set it in like this. Then we're going to line it up to that arm back here and here. Like this. Come on, you. Like that. Okay, it just falls right into place. And then we're going to bring this back to this side of that bar and bend it back down like that. So that runs this choke. So choke is on. Oh, look at that. That's an issue there. Why is this not on a spring? There should be a spring running that. This is a completely wrong. This is not the right carburetor for this. Somebody's worked on this, and this isn't the right freaking carburetor for this. This is completely wrong. It's supposed to be this style of carburetor. This one's broken. I can't use it. But it's the same thing. It's just this is angled this way and it has a spring on it. So if this wasn't broken, I could just pull it out, remove this tab. This is just for when it throttles up, it pushes the choke off. But when it warms up, this unchokes it too, so it will work fine. But see how this is this way and this one's that way? It needs to be this one. I'm going to keep looking to see if I find one. Same thing though. Your carburetor is the same inside as this one was. Same carburetor, just different choke arm. That's all. There, I took the piece out of that one, the choke arm out of that one. I drilled a new hole, and now we got an automatic choke. So it'll start up and run, and it'll run rough at first, and as the engine warms up, this will open up and it'll run good. Alright, same deal, it's just a different flap. So you're going to do the same stuff. You just won't have to worry about this. That won't be there on that. That was kind of my first clue that that was wrong. See, it's not in that one. See, they drilled it's drilled and tapped right in here. Where that is. Anyways, problem solved. Working order now. Alright, now air filter assembly. We're going to go back in. We're going to stab this back up top here like it goes. The tube right there. Make sure it's stabbed in over here. We're going to stab this vacuum line in here like that, and then we're going to go ahead and put this back on like that, and then two 10mm nuts. This one's missing a spacer, and I'm looking around, I don't see a spacer for it. Whoever tore this apart, it's missing that. Just make sure if they fall out that you put them back in. I'll just have to hold it level and then put it on. I don't have one of them. Put it on, tighten it down. The air filter out with air, and then put it back on. Click it in place. That should be it. You'll see this will start, but it'll be choking at first. Just let it run. That heats up. Move out. Ran out of fuel. Nope, something's going on. Alright, son. Float got stuck. Alright, but this will turn the throttle up. So if you need to adjust your throttle, you go this way to turn it up. You see how it smoothed out and worked fine, but float got stuck. I actually just tapped on the bottom of the bowl with the needle nose and it runs good now. Alright guys, helped you out in any way, shape, or form. Give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. This one, you know, these are all the yellow tag ones are for sale. So I'll sell this one for 80 bucks. It's in great shape. It just takes a second for that choke to turn off, you know. But if I was rebuilding the carburetor on this one for like a customer, I more than likely would have just bought a brand new carburetor. I'll put that in the description below. But there's nothing wrong with it. It just choke stays on for a minute. Alright guys, hope that helped you out. Give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Peace.